Welcome to the Know, I am Ashley. The development team behind God of War looks like they are already working on their next game, whatever that is. Sony Santa Monica has posted a new job position. They are looking for a senior character concept artist. They didn't mention what project they're hiring for, but in the job posting they said, "Come help us design a rich cast of characters and creatures steeped in story, mythology, mixed with strong historical detail and influences." Of course, given the success of God of War, which came out in April, not hard to imagine they could already be starting up work on a sequel. I don't think most of us would be too sad to see that, given how good it was. God of War has been a massive success for Sony, topping 5 million sales in just the first month, so yeah, pretty safe bet they're gonna be giving us some more. In some really good news for The Division 2, it looks like its beta is setting records for Ubisoft. More people have registered for the game's beta than any other game in the company's history, and they've done their fair share. In a call to investors, CEO Yves Guillemot said the game set a new record and is now the fastest registered beta in Ubisoft history, and its sign-up rate was apparently 4 times higher than the original game in 2015, which was Ubisoft's previous record holder. Don't know exactly when the beta is going to take place, but the game itself is scheduled to be released on March 15th for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, and it seems like people are interested in seeing what it's all about. Speaking of Ubisoft, the company is doing pretty well these days, financially speaking. I'm sure it helps not to have a hostile takeover hanging over their head. The company reported a record first quarter with sales of $466 million for the quarter. The company said that was driven by growth of digital sales and player recurring investment in digital items, DLC, season passes, subscriptions, and advertising, which is really a fancy way of saying microtransactions, games as a service. It's working for them. And PC sales are doing particularly well for the company. They accounted for 24% of Ubisoft's total and were behind only the PlayStation 4, which accounted for 38% of sales. Xbox One came in third, making up 22% of sales. As for the future, CEO Yves Guillemot added that our teams are continuing to deliver on our strategic plan of ramping up our franchises. Assassin's Creed Odyssey and The Division 2 were very well received at E3, confirming their full potential in a highly competitive environment. He also mentioned that the upcoming pirate combat game Skull and Bones also made a very good impression. I can agree with those. It did. The first annual Summer Skirmish Fortnite Tournament got off to a rough start. You might remember that last week Epic Games announced an 8-week tournament series that's going to feature $8 million in prize money. The series started with a $250,000 duos event this weekend, and that's when the trouble started. PC Gamer reported the tournament was plagued with mishaps and technical glitches, calling it a train wreck. They wrote some of the best competitors died to horrible latency issues while the casters laughed it off. At one point, a private planning spreadsheet appeared on screen for all viewers. Of the 10 matches that were promised, only 4 were actually broadcast. Also, the invite list seems to leave off a bunch of established pros, so hopefully Epic can get things in order soon. Speaking of Fortnite, it's continuing to make a ton of money. GamesIndustry.biz got a hold of a report from research firm Superdata showing the game's made more than $1 billion just from in-game purchases, and its revenue has gone up every month from October 2017 to May of this year, which is a pretty impressive streak. The game made $223 million in revenue for March and another $318 million for May. Superdata also says that Battle Royale games are also the most popular genre of gaming content to watch. Viewers watched almost 700 million hours of Battle Royale games in May, followed by MOBAs at nearly 275 million. So basically, MOBAs are over. Only 275 million hours watched. And of those 700 million hours for Battle Royale, Fortnite accounted for 83% of that time. So it is continuing to dominate the Battle Royale space, in case you had any doubts. The sequel to the popular RPG Hand of Fate is out now on Switch. Hand of Fate 2 is a follow-up to the 2015 original, and it's unique in that it combines card game mechanics with a more traditional fantasy dungeon crawler. The original game was developed by Defiant Development, and it was downloaded and very impressive 2.5 million times. Hand of Fate 2 brings back the infamous dealer from the first game, who guides you through the game via a series of tarot-style cards. It's been out on Steam, PlayStation 4, Xbox One for a few years now. It looks like a very welcome addition to the Switch lineup. The next major update for Sea of Thieves is coming later this month, and Rare says that the update, which is called Curse Sales, will release for PC, Xbox One, July 31st. The developer talked about what's coming in a new blog post, and one of the biggest additions will be new enemy AI ghost ships that are piloted by skeleton crews. Rare wrote, "Cursed Sales will change things forever on the Sea of Thieves, as the sails you see crushing the horizon are no longer guaranteed to be other players making their own way through the world. The decks beneath those masts may now be manned by skeletal marauders returned to the seas from their restless graves." The update will also bring a third ship type, the Brigantine, which will accommodate crews of up to 3 people. So you're like, no, we don't have enough for 4, we have too many for 2. A Brigantine. Players will also see a new alliance system, which Rare says encourages the formation of fleets united under a single cause, ready to tackle greater challenges and share the rewards. Come on, it's Sea of Thieves. No one wants to share. It looks like the multiplayer on an FPS classic is tragically coming to an end. The online multiplayer for Crysis is gonna shut down on October 11th, according to a Facebook post from the game's official account. The post says, "We don't have the required number of players to keep up the service and ensure all our players have a great online experience. We appreciate your support and hope you continue enjoying our single-player campaign." Crysis, if you recall, drew a lot of praise on PC back in 2007 for its amazing visuals. It was very, very impressive. It later came to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 in 2011, but those versions didn't have online multiplayer. Sadly, looks like gamers have moved on to other stuff. Anne Rice's popular The Vampire Chronicles series of books has sold millions of copies since Interview with the Vampire was released in 1976. Tom Cruise starred as Lestat in a movie adaptation of Interview with the Vampire in 1994. Now looks like Lestat is back. Hulu has acquired the rights for the Vampire Chronicles series after the property began its own development 2 years ago. They had Hannibal's Brian Fuller on as showrunner at one point, but Fuller is now out of the picture and the search is on for another showrunner as we speak. The series has 12 novels to pull from and will benefit from Anne Rice and her son Christopher on board as producers. The books get real weird. The last one folds in Atlantis mythology with the sexy vampires, for instance, so we'll see how crazy Hulu gets with this thing. Maybe they're trying to like pull a whole True Blood, be like, look, fairies! Moving over to another mega streaming service, Netflix has doubled down on Mark Miller, the comic book writer behind Marvel's Civil War, Old Man Logan, and the Kick-Ass and Kingsman books. And when I say Netflix is all in on Mark Miller, I am not kidding. They are committed to 2 TV series and 3 feature films based on his work. On the feature film docket, we have Hawk, about a big friendly dude with an almost supernatural kindness to him. Then there's Empress, about the wife of an evil galactic dictator who flees with her children and is hunted throughout the galaxy by her angry husband. And finally, Sharky the Bounty Hunter, a sci-fi tale about, you guessed it, an intergalactic bounty hunter. On the series side of things, they're developing a show from Jupiter's Legacy about the kids of the first generation of superheroes trying to live up to their parents' reputations, and American Jesus, which sees a 12-year-old boy realizing he is Jesus Christ returned. If you've seen Kingsman or Kick-Ass, you'll know Miller's got kind of a dark sense of humor to him, to say the least. So all of these comic properties should have a bit of a bite to them. These properties already have writing and producing talent from stuff like Luke Cage, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Hidden Figures, 21 Jump Street. I told you, Netflix not messing around. So it looks pretty promising. I'm excited to see what they come up with. All right, that's all the news for this roundup. Let us know what you think of all these updates in the comments down below. To make sure you get all the crazy news from every corner of the internet every weekday, like this video. And if you're new here, subscribe to the know. Thing which, fancy way of saying microtransactions, games as a service. It's working for them. And PC sales, hopefully Epic can get things in order soon. Speaking of Fortnite, it's continuing to make a ton of money. Disney, I don't even know where I got that.